am here with Connie Shepherd, and it is a pleasure to welcome you to our Outthinkers conversation about customer focus. So thanks for joining us, Connie. Connie brings significant experience in the area of the CPG market and sector, and delighted to talk with you today. Thanks for joining. What do leaders need to be thinking about when it comes to driving growth for their organizations?
In the CPG industry, customer centricity has emerged as a strategic imperative for growth, period. Companies that win the hearts and loyalty of consumers are best positioned to expand market and share profitability.
Can you talk a little bit about how you think about customer from a CPG perspective?
Sure. We really have two main customers. One is the end user or consumer, and the other is the retailer or where our products are distributed, either online or in store. The important thing is that when you create these customer-centric, whether it's consumer delivering against the consumer needs or whether it is a retailer value proposition, it drives sustainable growth. One, speaking from a consumer perspective, they tend to buy more, they try new brand extensions, and they advocate for the brand. Prioritizing the customer needs and satisfaction can actually increase the lifetime value of a particular brand.
Can you talk a little bit about what are some of the challenges that leaders face in executing on customer focus and how to think about getting over or addressing those challenges?
Yes, I think there's three major challenges. One is really organizational silos and culture. How do the different functions view customer centricity and what is their role in delivering it? So, if marketing is about delivering against consumer needs and creating new products, but supply chain is about driving efficiency and reducing the number of products, that's often in conflict. I mean, the way to get around this is to embed customer-centric goals throughout the organization. One of those great goals would be profitable share growth. So how do we together, regardless of your particular function, grow profitably? And really the only way to do that is to be customer-centric and deliver against those needs better than your competition. Otherwise, you're just a price brand. The second main challenge is really short-term focus versus long-term customer value. Oftentimes business pressures give us short-term sales targets that we need to deliver on a quarterly basis. And that's often in conflict with investing longer term in customer relationship building and maybe even testing something that would cost money but not pay out, but would go a very long way in solidifying and understanding those customer-centric needs. And then I think the last real challenge is really data and insight limitations. A customer-centric approach and strategy is really based on consumer insights. So if either you have limited data or you don't have the ability to mine that data into analytics and then take the analytics and build them into insights, and then build from the insights into action-oriented tactics to deliver more volume, a lot of times organizations will get stuck in doing that because there's not necessarily, for an investment in consumer insights, there's not really an immediate or a one-to-one ratio on return right away.
Could you share another example about how CPG leaders are really catering to and addressing the needs at multiple levels of customers, both at the end consumer level, but also for the retailer customer in order to drive efficiency?
So in CPG, again, this was also based on Procter's The Consumer's Boss, but there's primarily three moments of truth. It's when the consumer chooses to buy the product, when the consumer uses the product, and when the consumer decides to come back. So when you talk about the retailer and you talk about the consumer, they're both customers. The consumer, you have to deliver, a superior experience and usage of the particular product. So Tide was the highest performing detergent that maintained the quality and equity of your clothing. From a retailer perspective, Tide was not helping them reach their revenue goals because it was priced so competitively in the market. So the challenge was, how do you deliver against the retailer needs, which that's that second moment of truth when the consumer decides to buy it. You need to create demand in store. How do we deliver against their needs, knowing that once it gets in the basket, we can deliver against the consumer? So understanding that the retailer Target wanted to build their soft lines business, their clothing, and knowing that Tide performed superiorly, we shared with Target that, hey, take a look at these 5 shirts. These are your Massimo shirts. These are the department store brands you're bringing to the masses that you're very proud of. One of these shirts looks brand new. And then you can see the deterioration across all 5 shirts till one looks very faded and worn. Do you think, and we ask a very simple question, do you think that the guest in your stores will think it's the quality of your shirts or the detergent they're using? Well, the light bulbs went off at Target that is like, Tide can actually build our brand in soft lines. And so overnight, they put displays of Tide up everywhere. They also hung tags last twice as long with Tide in their school uniforms, which is a huge business for them. So they realized that the value of the brand and the consumer value of the brand surpassed oftentimes short-term pricing in the marketplace or, aggressive pricing at a point in time. And so that's the essence of customer centricity. And that is, how do you take both brands and deliver a better experience to the end user in such a way that others can't? A customer first mindset is the key for CPGs, customers, and the whole industry. It's probably the only way that sustains the test of time and future proofs the business. And I think that's critical. We are in a new era of consumption, and the consumers are more demanding. Their behaviors are shifting much quicker. And if you're not ahead and articulating and providing solutions to needs and pain points that they haven't been able to articulate yet, then you're behind the game already.